Hello, this is John Piper with the weekend video clip, and it's Saturday the 8th of November. Looking here at a chart of pound dollar. I'll start with pound dollar as I went short during the week. Base of the pattern, my preferred count is 1, 2, 5 waves down to there, we discussed that. And A, B, C, and I suggested buying dollars around here. Also euros aren't doing so well, but the dollars are doing very well. As I said when I recommended that the euros was that I live in Spain, it's always a good time to buy these things. You need them for everyday usage. We then mentioned the extreme stop and suggested stops above 160.20. Let's go down a scale for this one. Right, the extreme stop was triggered around here, as I recall, so it was a small penetration. Quite a large rally. I could have done without that really, but it didn't hit the stop. It was threatening. Did of course give you opportunities to sell the market at better prices. If you missed the original signal, you got much better entries. Then we came crashing down rather nicely. We're now bouncing a bit, but I'm expecting more downside. The wave count is pretty clear. Going back to the daily chart, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then this is a third of a third. It should just keep on going for a while. This move was in excess of 10 cents, so we should see something similar here. So 150 odd is a target, although I don't really use targets, but as a rough guide, around 150 would be the sort of level we're looking at. Looking at the weekly chart, move down to 150 would take us to around here, meaning that the levels here are vulnerable for this move, especially if it turns into a 5-wave decline. But that's in the future. Let's see how it goes before we look at that in too much detail. Another look at gold. Okay, I alerted you to the 5th of a 5th scenario with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clearly coming in. In the report yesterday morning, I told you went long of gold. I think the level was 1144. That was a particularly good entry point. I hope some of you got on board that. It was a tentative move. It was a bit early, but you know, it depends on the type of trading you want. Not a big call at this point. What we want to see now is a 4th wave, 5th wave, then an ABC correction, retesting. Nice spike, perhaps. I mean, this is in an ideal world, a nice spike is useful. Doesn't always come in, of course. And we then take a big call. Stops below here. And but at the moment, those of you who read the report yesterday morning and got on board should be doing quite nicely. Right, look at the equity market. And look at Nikkei Dow next, I think. This is a long-term position. We bought into the Nikkei in January 2013, around the 10,000 level. And we took half profits on this little blip here. One of my better strategies. We're still half long. We're now 7,000, almost 7,000 points up on the position at that point. That's based on the Nikkei, the actual investment that we put my money in, which is in the technical trade, as it were, is doing in fact slightly better than the Nikkei. But they're both doing extremely well. Anyway, no change of opinion here. It looks like we're seeing a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a pretty subnormal correction actually. That's all we're going to get as a correction. It's not huge. Then got a, let's clear that. Then got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It failed at the high basically, false break I think. Very sharp 2-wave, which was a little bit, did suggest maybe we're going to go and break the lows, especially in view of this very subnormal decline. As I had been saying that we could easily see a C-wave decline to make that a bit more normal with the retest of here. But then we're shot up again. Okay, news based, but for now it looks good. So we'll stick with our position for now. Let's have a look at the Dow now. Okay, we do have a possible wave count here, which suggests that this move may be near an end. Got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to there. This would be the 2, very, very small waves. The first wave doesn't count well because initial ABC type form. 4 here, again a very subnormal move. Leaving this wave here as a 5th wave. Let's just look at the count on that. This is a 5-minute chart, so we saw the low here. Very clear 5 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm going to 2 wave. From here it all gets a bit messy. You can see that it's not really the momentum's going out of it. You know, each new high is quite marginal. Falls back. This one remains to be seen. But it looks like it is time really that we're going to see some kind of finish. I can't really count this because it's just a bit of a mess really, but maybe one blip outside the trend channel is possible, so we could see a bit of that would be a fairly decent move actually come next week, and then perhaps a more solid decline back into the range. Normally you test the fourth wave, so move down to 17,250 would be the 17,275 roughly would be the kind of thing to expect. So a 300-point decline would shake everything out a bit. But right now it's looking a bit toppy. DAX. The DAX really pushed this correction. This is a secondary peak which I set 5 waves down to there. A, B, C. I showed this counting yesterday's newsletter. B wave, then a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, and I was hypothesizing that we could perhaps see a pullback here. In fact, it could be a major pullback. You know, this is a 1. This is an ABC2, then obviously there's a potential for quite a substantial fall coming in. So have a look at the shorter term. Okay, this is a 5-minute chart. There is a 1, 2, possible 3 to there, rather weak, rather small correction, but that could be a 5 waves, not ideal, but possible. A, B, C, again, not ideal, possible. Nice 5s there actually, a nice 5-wave decline, nice ABC to there. Then we had another decline there. So, 1 and also an ABC there. So possible 1, 2, then a 1, 2, 1, 2. Again, you know, potentially something could happen early next week. So I'll be looking to go short next week and see what comes up. I would mention about this service. I mean, big call service. We alert on big calls. As we did with the pound-dollar thing last week, but I try and give a lot of trading recommendations and sort of setups as I go along with these reports in particular. So I mean, this may not be signalled, and obviously this is more of more interest to people who are actually watching the markets, want to actually be involved in taking their own trades, which is what it's all about at the end of the day. You know, to be a successful trader, you need to take your own trades, and it goes without saying really. Also heavily into these robots. I'm saying all this because if you join my trading room, which is a bit more expensive of course, then you get access to the bots, access to the analysis, and you get a much fuller package. If that's something that interests you, then do get in touch. It's only £97 in the first month, so you can try it out. That is refundable if you want a refund. Then £297 a month after, £247 a month after that. So I mean, I think it's solid value for money. As usual, the prices will be increasing. Anyway, on the DAX, I think there's a fair chance we're going to see something happen next week. On the Dow also, and let's have a look at FTSE. Right, FTSE's also seen this fall off the top. Can be counted as a 5-wave decline, although it's not hugely clear. Then got a similar ABC, B, and a rather erratic 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to this sort of peak here, matching the finally made the 6.8% level. Blipped a bit higher but then fell back. So again, we have got a possible peak there as well. Should bear in mind that it is expiry week. Sorry, it's expiry on the 21st of November. So we've now got 2 weeks into expiry. Generally quieter. Wasn't terribly quiet last month. I think expiry was actually expiry came in around the turnaround. I think in fact. So, which is interesting. So it's often a pivotal event. So maybe we wouldn't see the same this month. So again, we could easily see a pullback on FTSE as well. So I'll be looking for pullbacks on FTSE, DAX, and Dow next week. We have very good short-term systems which are very useful for that kind of stuff. And I do sometimes run the bot trades longer than the robots are designed to do certain things, but I tend to adapt to what they're doing. If I think we're getting into a position which could run, then I will adjust the profit taking parameters on the bot, which I find very useful. Right, that's all for today. I found that interesting and useful. We've now got 2 solid positions to add to our long-term Nikkei position. I think we have to say that the Nikkei position, having now run for almost 2 years, is definitely a big call, and it's always nice to have a few thousand points in hand, as it were. And I think we might well see something more interesting on the equity markets coming up. Have a great weekend. Thanks for listening, and bye for now.